I'm Gord.
And I'm Charles.
Yeah. So, being that we're so young in this whole YouTube environment, trying to get some involvement from you folks, from our subscribers, and starting up this Canadian graphic novel book club. So, in our future videos, looking at some of these graphic novels, suggesting some of these graphic novels to you. Hopefully you'll go out and buy these awesome books, and we can have an awesome conversation about it.
Yeah, we'll try and do it somewhat structured so that we've got some sort of, book club style questions in mind for some of these as we discuss them, and then you're able to chime in and even suggest to us what you'd like us to talk about in the future as well. If you have any suggestions, because we're always looking for stuff to discover as well.
Yeah, I want to discover some maybe there's some artists or writers out there that I'm not aware of that you folks could suggest to me. So we've got quite a lineup, I think. In December, we're going to look at Kate Beaton's new book, Ducks, which we're both very eager to discuss.
Yes, we've both read it, so we are now holding ourselves back.
and you don't realize how hard that is, because we grew up where Kate is like, well, not in that area, but in this overall, in the grand scheme of the world, we grew up during this time that she's
and that's and that's been affected by the things in a different context than her, and so it's tough not to talk about it. Yeah,
really hard not to talk about.
But
Entropy, which is a book that I think everybody needs to have if you're a fan of this medium and what it can do. Entropy is amazing. Louis Riel being some classic Canadian graphic lit. Hopefully we can jump into that. And then, you folks give us a suggestion.
Yeah. And we're keeping it pretty loose, pretty casual. So at some point during that time period, so, get reading, get checking stuff out if you wanted to kind of be a part of it. Or if you just want to check out the videos and then discover the books you want to read afterwards, that's great too.
Yeah.
We're just looking to celebrate everything.
So this is a haul video we're doing. This is a haul from various sources.
All over the place.
Lots of different sources. I've ordered some books. I've bought some books from the big box stores, and I've bought some books from some little bookstores as well, and directly from some of the artists, such as those ones that I met at the Quick Draw Animation Society Giraffe Festival. There were some artists there, and I picked up some of their work. So maybe you could start off with telling us about your haul here, sir.
So I went a little crazy after we had our video about Dragonstar and about Matrix graphics. I kind of went hog wild. So Lone Star Comics out of the States, they run my comic shop. They're kind of, when I can't find stuff locally, that's the first place I usually look. So I basically sought out everything that they had and bought it all. And if they had two, I bought one for Gord. So nice. I was able to find this trade paperback. So once Matrix kind of went the way of the dodo, they were bought out by Caliber. Mm-hmm. And Caliber then grabbed the first 3 issues of Dragonstar and he put a little extra stuff in there and did a collection. So I picked this up, even though it's pretty rough, it's pretty banged up around the edges. I wanted to have this nice I love trade paperbacks, so I wanted to have this as a nice trade. Yeah. And they also put some interesting stuff. So we'll do more on this later, because we're going to continue on that.
I don't want to say too much about it, but holy hell, just seeing this stack that you brought for me, able to pick out some of these names that are in here, that
there's a trove. Like, it's a treasure trove.
They did, like Steve Bissette, folks. Really, Steve Bissette is in this stack, and if you don't know Steve Bissette, pretty classic Swamp Thing artist doing some
covers for Bernie Moreau's stuff. So I've got the full run of Dragonstar. So Caliber also, as we found out, we thought that they had only done the 3 for Matrix. Once Caliber picked it up, they put out the trade and then put out 2 more issues. And spoiler, folks, Walt Simonson. Yeah. This is the issue Walt Simonson does. And then this is one that is it Dave Bogdanoff?
I think so. Classic Superman. He was involved in Death of Superman. I think he was an inker or one of the artists outright on that. eager to jump into
so
that.
definitely
Ooh,
keep
yeah,
checking out the
yeah.
channel if you're interested in this stuff. We're gonna do a pretty deep dive through this.
Some Northgard.
Yeah, Northgard. So
Hells
this is Gabriel Morissette stuff. So got a full run of that. Yeah, I got the jam from Bernie Moreau.
Also,
Also,
Morissette. I forget.
no, Bernie Moreau is the jam.
Oh, okay.
Morissette is
Mackenzie Queen.
Northgard. No, Bernie Moreau is
okay.
Mackenzie Queen as well.
Okay.
It's a mix of everybody. I believe the jam might serve as some backups in Northgard. So when I start delving through this, I think I'm going to find more of the jam in the back in some of these, which is going to be fun. Bernie Moreau also did Mackenzie Queen. So I grabbed Gord the loose copies I could find, but I was able to find this unread. So once again, Caliber Press bought out this Mackenzie Queen, and this was an unread trade paperback of all of the, I think there are 5 issues of Mackenzie Queen, so I cannot wait to start going through this. And I'm kind of, so Bernie Moreau, learning more about them, and thank you to one of our channel subscribers was mentioning about them, and kind of opened me up to saying, oh, okay, there's so much more I could learn, and discovering more. I think we can do basically a whole retrospective into BEM stuff.
Easy.
Also picked up Cybercom, Heart of the Blue Mesa.
Okay. Cybercom.
Cybercom.
And Ken Stacey art. Who's
Yes.
nothing to sneeze at either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, and this is like a melding of North America and Japanese influences in a time before that was really happening.
I would definitely call this a Maramanga.
This seems way ahead of its time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can't wait to delve through that. We'll probably do a series more on what Matrix was doing.
Yeah.
Picked up a couple things as well. This series called Gaijin. This is Gabriel Morissette stuff, and also it continued under Caliber, just a one shot for each of them. I think they were hoping to do more, but one shot for each. And this is the return of Marianne Bramstrup. We thought that Dragonstar was the only stuff she had written.
She did
I found
comics.
that under Caliber, she also created this. It looks like it could sneakily be in the same universe as Dragonstar, but this is a spy thriller, a 2-issue spy thriller. So I can't wait to delve into this as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be touching on this stuff. So stay tuned to the channel, folks.
All right. So at Giraffe, I got to meet Aaron Navrady, who's been doing this series called The Cold Fire for quite some time. And I don't want to say too much about this. I did have a chance to sit down and read this epic that Aaron's crafting here. Bought this for a few reasons, like Aaron's watercolors, Aaron's writing, the calligraphy that Aaron does in some of these is crazy stuff.
Yeah. So real cool
issues.
influences there.
Yeah, some of the earlier issues have some beautiful calligraphy in it.
Very cool.
Seriously, folks.
Wow.
Look at that. The watercolors mixed in with that too. Oh, holy hell. And I do want to mention that Aaron's been doing this for quite a while. This epic has kind of unfolded over the course of 8 years of Aaron's life, is my understanding. So, looking at each of these books really deserves, and this one, I had this one before and I bought it just on the cover itself. And same thing here, looking at it, just being like, absolutely beautiful. So awesome meeting you, Aaron. Gonna look at your stuff some more, I think, in the future.
Yeah, we should do a deeper look, I think.
So at the same show, Zach Schuster was there. I think a lot of people in Calgary probably know Zach, who frequented Another Dimension Comics. And Zach graduated art university here in Calgary, and has been producing some awesome stuff. I don't think Zach slowed down since he's graduated, because he's churned out a ton of stuff.
Seems like a real workhorse.
Real workhorse, working really hard, really wanting to make this happen. So Thrud is kind of, I guess, Zach's big project right now. Mm-hmm. I think you picked up Thrud, didn't you? I
picked up the volume 1 of Thrud at Another Dimension. Actually, I bought it there. And yeah, it's cool. I haven't delved through all of it yet, but it's got a great, like, it's Norse. It's a Norse epic, really.
Yeah, Zach was telling me it's based on I think some D&D campaign stuff, which is always a fun read, and then some anthologies that Zach appeared in as well.
Oh, nice.
What Will Not Last, Anthology of Beginnings, and then this Dead Work. So another one of people who have put together submissions that never went anywhere, putting it together into one book. Looking forward to that.
Almost memorialize it,
Yeah.
and make it so it doesn't disappear. I think about, I wish I had all the stuff from my college days that disappeared, all the work I had. So
it's pretty neat.
And I find with
that.
the smaller, like with the especially the young folks in Calgary here, they've got this great community coming out of art school and art university, and then when they put together these anthologies, it's a beautiful way to really sample a wide swath of work that's really diverse and really great.
Yeah, I'm down with it. So we have a couple of really good used bookstores here in Calgary. I don't think we have enough, to be honest with you, but we do have some good ones, and Books Between Friends is one that I like to shout out to all the time. They're just a great bookstore. But another one is Fair's Fair Books, and they have 2 locations in Calgary. And I was able to find a few books there on a day out with Mrs. Cummings. So those of you who've been with the channel for a bit, I love Gord Hill's books. I love Gord Hill's stuff. I'm learning a lot from Gord Hill's stuff. And if you don't know, Gord Hill got his start just making little pamphlets for people that want to know about resistance. Gord Hill's an indigenous guy from BC, and really like small things that he's given out to community organizations throughout North America for them to just print off, and then he's developed this following, developed quite the career. So this is one of his books that I didn't have, Antifa comic book, 100 Years of Fascism and Antifa Movements. I think people who constantly call out Antifa as being like a criminal organization should really learn about Antifa.
Well, they think Antifa is something that's just cropped up in the last couple of years. There's been anti-fascist movements for as long as there's been fascist movements.
Yes, exactly. So looking forward to this. Didn't have it. And I surprisingly didn't have a copy of Sarah Leavitt's Tangles, which is a book, in case you didn't know, this is a pretty important book. A story about Alzheimer's, my mother, and me. This book has won countless awards, and Sarah Leavitt is just a very crafty, good storyteller, a solid storyteller. Agnes Murderess is the follow-up to this one from, I believe it's our Freehand Press. To Freehand Press, and well represented over there at Freehand, and just didn't have a copy of this. I've read it a couple times, so I was really excited when I saw it out there. Cool. Oh, more Dragon Star. There we go.
It's everywhere.
Also, too, our little secret from Drawn and Quarterly, a graphic memoir by Emily Carrington.
Heavy stuff. Real heavy.
I mean, the cover tells you a lot about what's happening in here. And this book was difficult to read. If you're somebody who is even remotely depressed about your past, I might suggest maybe avoiding this, because it is a gut punch.
Yeah, just no content.
This book
definitely
is a gut punch.
It's very much content warning.
Yeah,
in a hardcover.
After I finished reading this, I felt like I needed a shower, and I felt like for a good 2 days after reading this thing, I was thinking about it, and just I sent Emily a message as soon as I was done it, just congratulating her on the feat that is this book. Mm-hmm. I want to tell you it's a beautiful book, but I can't say that. It really is a monstrosity, but one that you need to read to really appreciate what Emily has gone through for us to even be able to hold this up and tell you about it.
And have Emily with us. And yeah.
Holy hell.
It's important.
Holy hell. That's all I can say. I might tell you more about it in the future. I don't know. Canadian graphic lit, there's a lot of that where people are just showing the raw spokes.
Yeah, the most vulnerable. Yeah, the most vulnerability.
This is that.
Yeah.
And wow.
The most autobiographical and to the deepest, darkest recesses.
Absolutely. And Emily, thank you so much. Leonard Cohen on a Wire, a new book from, Drawn and Quarterly as well. So Phillipe Gerard here. I did have a chance to read this. Already, I would say that this is almost a genre within Canadian graphic novels, or at least Canadian graphic lit.
The biographical.
Well, Leonard Cohen is just a good subject.
Oh, yeah.
And anybody who puts something out there that's graphic lit about Leonard Cohen, I'm absolutely going to buy, and it's going to absolutely make me listen to every one of his albums over again.
I wonder, and to do that though, you have to, it's got to be almost a scary thing to take on someone like Leonard Cohen, because it's going to be scrutinized quite heavily.
Absolutely.
So
he's got fans, in case you...
So it's pretty amazing, even though it's a guaranteed buy for a lot of people, it's also going to be quite scrutinized.
Yeah, I would say this book, like, where it really shined through was in the latter parts of Leonard Cohen's life, because I'm not as familiar with that. It's often not as celebrated as the earlier parts of his life. But I also didn't know about his romance with Joni Mitchell and how long that had gone on for. That was really cool to think about and see on display here. So that was excellent. And then just a little, this is not graphic lit by any means, but all Hell Can't Stop Us, the On to Ottawa trek and the Regina Riot. I'm immersed in this book. Oh, look, it's even got a beautiful little bookmark here from Shay, where I picked this up at Giraffe last week. But All Hell Can't Stop Us. If you're paying attention to my Insta feed right now, there's a lot of stuff coming out that is inspiring me from this book. Yeah. So stay tuned. I hope to give you more content from this book and from that event, the Regina Riot and the On to Ottawa trek, that really Canadians need to know more about. And as we're living in an era where people are sort of engaging in some of the similar practices, I would say those people need to educate themselves about what went down
on the history of resistance and the history of protest movements.
This is all about. And incredible stuff. I don't want to say too much more about it because I have a lot I want to say about this, but maybe we'll do that in a future video. Stay tuned, folks. Thanks so much for joining us for that. Like, follow, subscribe, and we will see